Hello, dear students. Welcome to our business breakfast with Rustam Rahmatov. Rahmatov, right? CEO and founder of IMAN Invest. You might have heard of it. It's first and unique halal investment company in Uzbekistan. And yeah, let's start. It will be just a simple discussion. You're free to ask your questions. Maybe you're interested about invest or how to combine it with faith. So yeah, please join us in this discussion today. Господин Rustam, could you please tell us a couple of words about yourself, maybe where you studied and how you ended up creating this company? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. My name is Rustam Rahmatov. Yeah, I'm the CEO and the co-founder of IMAN. It's a startup based on Islamic finance, investments finance. And yeah, today I'm here to share the experience, share the knowledge, answer your questions. It's not about IMAN. It's about the value that I can give you, help you in your in achieving your goals, and maybe like solving some problems you have. And yeah, because we are talking about the value, let me adapt to whatever you like. Like, you know, let's be open. Let's ask questions. Let's make it a dialogue, not monologue, or not an interview, right? So yeah, let's start.
First of all, thank you for coming to our university, and it is my pleasure to. So first of all, thank you for coming to our university, and it is my pleasure to meet you here. We used to work together with Rustam in one of the companies, and it is really interesting. Some of our former colleagues, they go and start their own businesses, so they change their track from corporate track to entrepreneurial track. And I think this is a perfect match to our university, since Team University is a leading entrepreneurial university in Uzbekistan. And I think our students, all of our students, they are studying entrepreneurship. We have 3 programs: entrepreneurship and international business, entrepreneurship and marketing, entrepreneurship and digital innovations. And the core is entrepreneurship, of course. And we are working with London South Bank University, which is also one of the best entrepreneurial universities in the world. And I think our students will be very interesting to listen to you, to have some motivation to see your path. So let's start from a path. So why IMAN? Probably you can say a few words about your product, about IMAN. When you came to this decision to start your own business, and why it was IMAN, why it was this exactly Islamic finance model. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really amazing that after several years we meet here, after working together. It's a different story, but yeah, why IMAN? You know, everything started from several years ago when I was working as a financial analyst at IFG Capital. It's an investment firm. When we were analyzing the problems on the market, in the banking market, in e-commerce market, in retail market. And we saw a really big problem in the banking sphere, that people just don't use banks. And the main reason was that the Western banks or traditional banks charge interest. And interest is prohibited or against the religious beliefs of Muslims. And me as a Muslim was really interested about this. I knew high level that interest was bad, but scientifically or I didn't have the in-depth knowledge, like, and I started digging down into it and learning more about the problem of interest, not only in Uzbekistan but globally, and was amazed that the problem is not only local but global, and really felt that this problem needs to be solved by me. It's a mission, and it started from the idea of building a startup, of building a unicorn. Then it became something more, some missionary thing for me, and yeah, it's been around 4 years since then, since I really have decided to invest around 10 years to build a unicorn, to solve this trillion-dollar problem of billion and billion people, it's personal, it's missionary, it's a big market, business-wise. It's a big problem, and I think that I'm doing it not only to solve some business problem, but also like the problem connected to the faith of people, to the values of people, and that's a short story.
And can you say a few words? Can you say a few sentences regarding what do you basically do? What does IMAN do? What does it offer to its clients?
Yeah, sure. So IMAN is an infrastructure for banks or fintechs or super apps or investment funds to become Islamic banks or Islamic financial institutions. Many people in Uzbekistan know IMAN as B2C products that we have. IMAN Invest, IMAN Pay. It's like a fintech, the app that you can download and invest, or the app that you can download and shop or borrow in a halal way. But IMAN is much more than that. The mission of IMAN is to make those 99% of the banks globally halal. And we do that by providing the infrastructure, the banking infrastructure. Just imagine that, for example, the bank that you use, for example, Tinkoff or Kaspi, can launch Kaspi Ethical or Kaspi Islamic with us, or Tinkoff Islamic or Tinkoff Ethical with our infrastructure. So we help them to become or to launch halal financial products, and help them to serve Muslims, help them to serve those underbanked or unbanked customers, and serve and provide the products according to their religious beliefs, according to their principles, according to the needs, to their needs, and not only be a bank that solves money problems, but also be a bank that solves money problems according to the principles and beliefs.
And in your speech, you talked about the product, which is a good fit for our country. I think you have some estimates. How do you assess the market share for this product?
You mean IMAN product, right?
IMAN product in Uzbekistan, yes.
Yeah, we are still like tiny, really small. Even if the market of Uzbekistan is not so like large, but we are a startup. We've started around 4 years ago, but started as a one-man show. It was just several people enthusiastic about Islamic finance, But today we are a team of like 70 people, around $10 million in turnover. But still, the market is like the retail market is around $10 billion. So you can imagine it's not even 1%. But we are growing, and we are not focused on Uzbekistan. It's a sandbox for us. I was born here. The team, many team members were born here, and yeah, we set the goals to be in 5 markets within the 3 years time, and we already opened the company in Kazakhstan, and within 3 months time we will be there as well. We'll be competing against Kaspi, and yeah, in Uzbekistan still small.
Oh yeah. And as far as I know, you had some successful rounds of raising capital, both in Uzbekistan and abroad. Can you elaborate more on that? How much did you raise so far? How does it look like? I mean, the process of raising capital, because you know why I'm asking this question, because our students, they also, we have a business incubator here, and we're trying to launch a business accelerator. So I think this will be interesting and, for our students to know how the process will look like. How does it happen?
Yeah, sure. It's really cool that I see the young entrepreneurs here, because it's really difficult to talk about the fundraising with the people that don't know how to build a business, right? And in Uzbekistan, the fundraising is a new thing. Not many people know how to fundraise well, or know the importance of fundraising, right? But in US, for example, it's a totally different science, a totally different expertise. Yeah, as for our experience, as for my experience as a founder, we raised 2 rounds. The pre-seed round of $1 million around 1 year ago. We raised from 8 VC funds from Singapore, from US, from Kazakhstan, and local VC funds and angel investors. And currently already closed the seed round of $2 million. And yeah, that's shortly said, but in details, it's really tough to fundraise in Uzbekistan, because on the world map, the Uzbekistan is super tiny. I mean, the market and the global investors need to first buy not your product or not your startup, but the region first, the CIS region, and then the country, and then the industry, and then your startup. So that's several rounds of sales pitches, several rounds of obstacles or the problems that you need to solve, and you need to understand how to solve that on that different levels. We also been to San Francisco 1 month ago, because one of our investors is 500 Global. It's American accelerator that for the first time invested in Uzbekistan. It was also tough, but that's a totally different story.
Yeah, but I think it's really interesting. What you previously said, you raised some capital here and you raised some capital abroad. And regarding so you were talking about region, and the region is not so big. I mean, if you compare to other regions, you compare to other countries. So you basically sell region, and you have some regional expansion plans. You already talked about Kazakhstan, but as far as I know, there are some other plans in other regions. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So, if you are talking about the global problem, there's 2 billion Muslims in the world, or 25% of the world, and 71% of them don't use interest-based products. I mean, the credits and the traditional loans and deposits. So it's 1.4 billion people that need our product, that need Islamic financial products. And mostly they live in Muslim majority countries like Uzbekistan, the Kazakhstan, Pakistan, with a 250 million people, with in Bangladesh, 220 million people, in Indonesia, 300 million people. So these markets need us more, and that's why our expansion plans started from Uzbekistan. It could have been started in other country, but yeah, here we also have the big problem. 94% of the population are Muslims. So the next is Kazakhstan, the next is Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Saudi, maybe US, inshallah. And the next step is, we know the next step for sure, but the other steps maybe will change. But yeah, the vision is that.
Okay. So the vision is global, and you talked pretty much about your product, and I think we can have some questions from the audience, please. If you have questions, you're welcome.
Yes, sure. Just one comment here, Professor. Yeah, I'm here to talk not about Iman, not to talk about Rustam, and not to talk about my story. Yes, maybe if it's interesting for you, but more to help, more to provide the value, and be helpful. So yeah, please let's move to discussion.
But your story is really motivating because you built a very successful company, which is recognized not only in Uzbekistan but abroad. And I think what you are doing is really amazing, and we highly appreciate you found some time and visit our university. Please, your question.
Thank you.
Anton?
First of all, thank you for sharing about your class. I really appreciate it. So the second one, I just have some couple of questions about the difficulties that you have faced, because actually in Uzbekistan we're the first mover. There is no such kind of halal investment funds. So that's why, what kind of difficulties actually you have faced while being this first mover? And even though we have more of the half of our population is Muslims, but it's something new for our market. And how was the adaptation for our market? So this is the first question.
Yeah, thank you for the question. It was tough path, lots of problems, and yeah, the strength of a founder is known by how many problems you solve, or how many difficult problems you solve. So according to our story, the main problem when you are a first mover or a challenger is that people don't trust or believe in you, in what you do, in your vision or intentions, and that's what I faced. That's what I'm facing still today. That the intentions are not right, or the team is not right to build the problem, to solve the problem. And I think you need to balance that lack of trust with your confidence, with your faith, with your iman, and balance that outer world with your inner strength, confidence, faith. and spread that confidence, spread that faith to your team, so they are empowered, they got your energy as well. Because when your team is around you, they face the same problems that you are facing, that your startup is facing, and that's the job of the founder, to have the right energy, atmosphere, culture in your company, to move through those hard times. So yeah, that's it for me.
Good morning, and thank you for coming. Appreciate your time. My name is Hector Huerta. I'm a lecturer here in international marketing, and I have a question and a follow-up to your answer, please. How do you make money then? Because if you say there is no interest, how can you make money? Any bank, any business, must make money. Otherwise, as you know, the basic principle: no money, no fun.
Yeah, great question. So, as per the business model, the business model is simple. We charge merchants. We charge merchants that we are working with. So, in our ecosystem, the three parties are combined. The first is the investor or the depositor, right? That provides the capital, provides the liquidity. The second is the borrower or the finance taker, right? The party that needs money. And there is the third ecosystem party, merchant, that we buy the product first and then resell it. In Islamic finance, the core of Islamic finance is that Islamic finance against interest. And if you understand that the interest is buying and selling the money, you understand that you cannot make money on trading the money. So you cannot lend the money to the borrower, right? Or you cannot buy the money from the depositor as a bank. That's the interest. So how Islamic banks work, or how IMAN works, is that we agree the partnership share or partnership contract with the depositor. So whatever the profits are, 70% of the profits goes to the depositor, and 30% of the profits stay with IMAN. And what are the profits? The profits are coming from the trade activities, buying and reselling the assets. So, for example, let's take an example of this power bank, right? That costs $100. IMAN buys first the asset and then resells it. It can resell it for the same price, charging the merchant as a discount. So, for example, if Abdullah is the merchant is selling this power bank, and I'm the IMAN, and you are the borrower, if you come to IMAN app ecosystem, you want to borrow or get an installment for this charger. So as IMAN, firstly, I buy this $100 power bank. It's a $90 cost. So I've done $10 profit on discounting. And then we sell it to you for $100. So that's the discounting mechanism. But I can also buy this product for $100 if Abdullah is making less than $10 or doesn't want to provide the discount, and then I can resell it to you for $120. The core principle here is that mathematically it can be the same. The other bank can provide you a loan with a 20% interest on top, but legally or principally, it's the bank sold you the money, not the asset. That's the core principle.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so here's the thing. You're saying you bought the power bank for $100, right? Then you're going to sell to a Rasul for the same amount of money, or 100 or 90. If that is the case, then where do you make money? How do you make a profit if you sell it for 100, the same cost that you pay, or as you said, you give them a discount for $90, then you are losing $10. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, let me explain. There are two types of the business model. The first is discounting, the second is margin. So when you are talking about the discounting, just imagine you bought this power bank for 3 months, 3 months time, installments, right? Paying $33 every month installment. So for that, because I earn 10% on that transaction, because of course I have 10% discount. Annually, that will be 10% multiplied by 40%. And it's even without the reinvestment, because when you pay monthly, I reinvest your repayments as well, because that's the cash, right? So annually, it's more than 40% even. I'm talking about the first type, discounting type of the business model. You got it right, the first type.
Now, when you say discount, that means what you said from $100 to $90, right?
Yeah, I bought for 90, I sold it to you for 100.
Okay, so you're making 10.
I'm making 10 for 3 months.
Mm-hmm. So that's better.
Yes, but annually, because the profit rates are calculated annually, not monthly or not per transaction. So it's annual turnover. And if you turn that into percentage, it will be 40% annual income that your asset generates. Because when I make $10 for that transaction, if you put that into the turnover of the business of $100 million business, I make four times that $10 profit. You get what I mean?
Well, I think that, I have an illustration on how your business model works. Now, as you mentioned, Uzbekistan is 95% for Muslim country, though it's a secular state, as you know. Is your service available to non-Muslims as well, or strictly Muslims?
No, of course, it's like, I always compare it to food, right? Our job is to make halal food or halal finance. And anyone can consume that, anyone can use that. And I make profit, like if you say that in business word, I make profit, the same profit for Muslims and non-Muslims, and I make the same goodness or sawab for the same, Muslims or non-Muslims. So they are not, they are not only for Muslims, but Muslims understand the problem of interest more than non-Muslims. Many non-Muslims don't care about interest. That's why our target audience for Muslims, but if people care about the interest, they will use our product. For example, the interest is not exclusive to Islam or Muslims only. In Christianity or in any other religion, in Judaism, the interest is prohibited as well. There are lots of, holy texts about interest in Torah and other holy books, Bible, and it's just forgotten, lost history and principles. And for example, in US there is a Christian finance, not only Islamic finance, and people who really care use Christian finance, but it's not popular because Christians don't care about interest. Right? So,
well, I can say that we don't care about interest. This to a sense of religions or personal. I personally do care about interest, especially if it's a variable interest. That's the worst. Okay, thank you very much. I pass on the microphone to my colleague Ahmad to ask a question for you. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Could I ask сауалым бизнес борасында эмас, баягы кадрията борасында. inson qachon o'zini qadriyatlarini topib shu asosida yashashga qaror qilgan paytda muammolar chiqishni boshlaydi. Manimcha ko'pchilik ichimizdagilar bilan to'qnashgan bu muammo bilan. Bu holatda atrofimizdagi insonlar asosan bu narsaga bizga xalaqit berib qo'yadi. Chunki afsuski ko'pchilikni qadriyatlari mavjud emas yoki o'zgarib turadi vaziyatga qarab. Endi men savolim, qadriyatlar asosida yashashdagi kelib chiqadigan muammolarda inson qayerdan kuch topishi mumkin qadriyatlarini buzib qo'ymaslik uchun.
Tushunarli. Ruxsat bersangiz, rus tilida javob berishga harakat qilaman. Sal qiyinroq savol berdingiz. Я вначале уточню, потому что сложный вопрос, вначале уточню, что вы имеете в виду. Значит, вы спросили, что когда человек решает жить по определенным ценностям, да, ему сложно становится. Почему? Потому что он может быть непонятым, или, возможно, какие-то окружения, да, его не будет понимать, и откуда брать силы для того, чтобы продолжать жить по ценностям, да? Я правильно понял? 100% или есть дополнение? Если есть дополнение, скажите.
Нет, точно это.
Окей. Да, сложный вопрос. И поэтому я отвечу, это opinion, да, и мой experience. Значит, ценности и культура – это очень сложная вещь. И qadriyatlar, ценности, it's not only about religion. Dinimizda, то есть в нашей религии, сказано, что 2/3 нашей религии – это культура. 1/3 нашей религии – это вера. Да? То есть культура, когда мы говорим про культуру, про ценности, это, например, культура общения, да, с людьми. Или культура задавания вопросов. Да, как правильно задавать вопросы, это тоже культура. Или вот вы пришли в маске, например, да, вы болеете. Это тоже культура. Да, вы уважаете ваше окружение, да, это тоже культура, это тоже ценности. Или, не знаю, носить часы на правой руке, например. Это тоже культура, это тоже ценность. Да? То есть it's not something, only about religion. It's also about the behavior. Да? То есть ваши взаимоотношения, ваше взаимодействие с людьми. Да? И я верю, что это несет как и общественный характер, да, так и внутренний. Но зачастую люди видят только поверхностное, внешнее. Да? Например, то, что вы в маске, или то, что у меня часы, или то, что у меня борода, и так далее, и так далее. Но это всего лишь 1-2%, я думаю. Все остальное, вся сила, или вся вера, или все ценности, все qadriyatlar – это внутри. И я верю, что большинство ценностей, большинство qadriyatlar должно оставаться внутри. Например, если вы верите во что-то очень сильно, вы, не говоря об этом, своими действиями можете убедить другого человека. И именно так делал наш пророк Мухаммад, саллаллаху алейхи вассалям. Он показывал действиями. Он никогда не заставлял человека что-то сделать. Почему? Потому что это имеет слабый эффект, когда вы заставляете человека. Это особенно понимают те люди, у которых есть дети. Нельзя ребенка заставить поверить во что-то. Нельзя ребенка заставить принять эту ценность или принять этот qadriyat. Вот будь таким и все. Верь в это и все. Нет, такого это не произойдет. Это сложный процесс. И самое важное, что вы можете сделать, как повлиять на это? Действиями, примером. Да? И вот поэтому я придерживаюсь этого. Когда вы верите во что-то, когда у вас есть какие-то ценности, Или когда вы решаете, что вы будете, например, что вы никогда не будете обманывать, например, да? Вы будете честны. Это кадрият. Если вы будете всем своим сотрудникам говорить, никогда не обманывай, будь со мной честным. Если ты обманешь хоть раз, я с тобой прерву отношения. Да? То есть это слова, это угрозы, это правила и так далее, и так далее. Но если вы на протяжении 5 лет работы с этим человеком ни разу не солжете и всегда будете честным, это повлияет намного больше, чем на протяжении 5 лет вы будете говорить что-то, но не будете показывать примером. Понимаете? Или на протяжении 5 лет будете говорить про хадисы и говорить про какие-то религиозные тексты, но показывать примером не будете. Это иметь будет меньший эффект, чем вы покажете примером. И чем сложнее будет оставаться честным, оставаться правдивее, тем эффекта будет больше. Понимаете, да? В каких-то легких вещах быть честным несложно. Да? И в зависимости от уровня сложности, или уровня проблемы, или уровня, так скажем, какого-то обстоятельства, вы можете влиять на других людей. И таким образом ваше окружение будет становиться с такими же ценностями, как и у вас. Понимаете, да? Вот, надеюсь, я постарался ответить. Вот.
And coming back to the previous question regarding fundraising, just coming from a personal experience, what do you think? For example, in my case, when I was studying in Germany, we were used to get told, like, elevator pitch is important. Just work on your elevator pitch. If you have an idea, work on your elevator pitch, develop it, train yourself, etc., etc. And coming from a personal experience, were there any cases when you presented something during elevator, just you had 1 minute, you presented and it worked?
Yeah, very good question. As I said, fundraising is a really complex thing.
Yes.
And if you were to do the 100 lines task list and put these tasks in priority and on the weight of the importance to be successful at fundraising, the sales pitch, I think, would be on the bottom line, somewhere on the 70th or 100th line.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with you. But were there any cases, I don't know, one case, like you presented something and it worked? Because some people say, like, sometimes this kind of thing, this happen, and you cannot control this. Of course, I understand the value of having all the documentation, presenting in a proper manner, etc. But at the same time, I mean, probably, I mean, in your case, it worked or not.
So they
small question.
So as I said, it's not important, right? It's not so important. It's important, but it's not so important. Answering your question is that it worked 2 times, and it worked when I was presenting the company on the big stage. 100 plus people. In front of me, the Sheikh of Saudi, like the brother of Maktoum bin Saud, and the teen draper.
The brother,
the brother of the king, and the teen draper, one of the biggest investors,
of course,
investing $1 billion a year.
Yes.
And then you have the time constraint. You need to amaze those guys, or you need to not amaze, explain what you do in 1 minute, 2 minutes. That's the first case where the elevator pitch from the 70th line went up to the first line, right? And you need to be ready for that. You need to be 10 out of 10. You need to hit 10 out of 10. And the second time was when I was presenting the company in front of 500 VC funds in San Francisco, in the Silicon Valley. And you also have 3 minutes. you cannot go too much into details.
Yeah.
You cannot answer those business model questions, deeply. You need to be simple. You need to explain your thing like to 5 years old child. You need to be like that. It needs to be very simple. And if your problem is really big, you can explain your solution really simple. And it works, long term in the marketing. If you cannot explain something simply,
yes,
no one gonna buy it, right?
The KISS rule: keep it short and simple.
Yes,
it works.
Exactly, it works. And there is a pitch, the elevator pitch that I've done on 500 startups, the demo day in front of 500 VCs. Yeah. It's online. It's available on YouTube. You can watch it. Right? I've been trained. I really don't like the experience, but I've been trained to make the same pitch 200 times. 200 times. It's about 100 hours of my life. Not 100 hours. Around 20 hours. 20 hours of my life non-stop during 20 days. I've done 200 times the same pitch to go in front of the VC funds and do that within 3 minutes. Yeah, that's the power of repetition. That's the power of training. I really didn't like the experience, but it worked. And after that, you like the experience, you like the result, you can watch it and you can analyze the result.
Please, you had a question, yes?
Yes, it's me again. Right now the question is regarding the phase of the startup when you are ready to go and try to pitch investors and all this stuff. Yes, because before the meeting today, I thought the startup is something that you have came up with the model, the idea, and all the stuff. Probably have the MPV, and then you go try to pitch the investors and venture capitals. But as you say, this year is the 4th year of your business, and you had the pitching presentation last year, so it means in a matter of 3 years you got ready for the pitching of investors. So the question is how to understand when you're ready to get investors and raise additional funding for your business. Because as I mentioned in the first question, I'm personally interested in that because I'm doing startup, and I thought I was kind of thinking about the funding, but now I'm really doubting.
No, don't doubt yourself. Go and try. You need to. The only wrong thing to do is to try when you are 100% ready, right?
It never happens.
Right? Yeah, it never happens, or you're gonna be late, right? You need 3 months time to be 100% ready. So don't lose those 3 months time. Go and try when you have confidence. Go and try. Fail. Try again. Fail again. It's that's what the startup world teaches you. The most successful people are the people who failed the most, but fail fast. Fail fast, learn fast, and at the end of the day, the intelligence, the IQ, is it's how fast you learn. That's it. It's not how much you know, or how many big books you read. It's just how fast you learn. That's it. That's why it doesn't matter at what stage you are. Just go and try and pitch. Start from tier 3 funds, VC funds. Start from the small business angels. Start with your friends, family, you know, the fools, like people say, and then go up to the tier 1 VC funds, the big funds. Once you become stronger, once you have more traction, once you have stronger product, and don't stop. What does this mean? So I can give you one example. You know, 4 years ago, when I was like, you know, I didn't have much knowledge about the startup world. I just tried, I just failed, and I had one of the guys that gave me really like the perfect question that I needed, right? The question I needed is what you have except the presentation. On that time, I didn't have nothing except the presentation about big ideas, big goals, some expertise, some knowledge, you know. I had nothing. So I had a goal at that time to build a product, or to build the MVP, right? Because I understood. The question was perfect. I built the first product. Then I came to this guy. I'm saying, here's the product. I have the product. It's working. Look at, it's working. He said, what you have except working product? Then I understood. I didn't need the answer, you know. I didn't need the answer from him. Then I understood that I need clients. I need sales. The product is not the business. The presentation is not the business. The idea is not the business. So the first, you know, the first version of your business, or you can call yourself a business or a startup or an entity, is when you have the first client, the first sales. Hit that target first. Right? Hit the sales stage. The first sales stage is like really important step, really important stage. And then you can, as I said, self-studying, learning quickly, understand what the next step should be.
Okay, thank you for all your questions. We will kindly wrap it up in a bit. So there's going to be one last question, and we will go and have some breakfast for those who have eaten.
Yeah, I think Akmal Khudaykulov, our teacher, wanted to ask something because he's been raising his hand for a long time. We'll have some time when you can have personal interaction with Rustam. So, yeah, you can ask directly questions. No problem with that. So the last question, and yeah,
thank you very much.
Let's move to the breakfast part.
Professor, my question is like threefold, but you can ask me in Russian or in English. So first question is, why is now a good time for a startup to enter the market? IMAN Invest. And others try for freedom. What's your approach different? What's possible that wasn't the case?
I just heard the first question. Why is a good time?
Yeah, why is a good time? Second is, others try in the past, right?
Yeah, can you talk a bit louder? I didn't hear.
So why now is a good time?
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
If others have tried in the past and they're failed, how is your approach is different? And what is possible today that wasn't yesterday?
Got it. Yeah. 3 questions, and I can give one answer that answers all of these questions. So, it's never a good time to start a business, right? For me, it's never a good time. It's never a perfect time. And why? Because there will be always some macroeconomic collapses, problems, difficulties, the war in Ukraine, the banking collapse in US, the pandemic, all of these things that you cannot control. And that gives you the answer or the hint that if it's not, it's never perfect time, then the perfect time is now. You need to start the business, whatever the timing is, and try. Of course, you need to understand that whether the customers need your product now, whether it's a good timing to enter the market. But to start the business, I think it's always a good time. You don't need to wait for the perfect time. And how our approach was different than others, and why like 99% of the startup fail, and like we are still like, you know, successful or alive. I think our approach was always constantly develop, and even if we failed, and we failed many times, learn fast and correct the wrong things fast, and learn fast, and build the startup according to the books, you know, but also add your personal creativity things. And it's very important to build a startup according to the books, according to the lean startup methodology, for example, right? It's always good to have some processes or some rules, but it's also good to break the rules, of course, but you need to have some grounds for starting. No, intelligent investor is like, you know, it's the book for not startuppers, you know. I think I really suggest to read the Lean Startup. I think that's the only book you need to start the business. And start the business according to these rules. Be lean, be agile, be quick. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the perfect stage, you know. And yeah, that's the first book I suggest.
Okay, last, which I will comprise. What is the scope of scale? Right? What are the key growth drivers for the business? I mean, you see in general. What are you choosing to measure and why?
Yeah. The first question, I didn't get the first question. The scope.
What is the scope for scaling?
What does it mean?
Scaling.
In Uzbekistan?
For your company in Uzbekistan.
Got it. So.
And what are the key growth drivers?
Yeah. Okay.
And
got it.
what are you choosing then in your company?
Got it. Yeah. So answering your question, I can say that it's market measurement, right? In terms of IMAN, you analyze the market size in terms of the market or the value that you can get from the one customer, and what is the market share locally, how many people you can serve, how many what is the size of the business, the market valuation can be the company in Uzbekistan, and you analyze it globally and think whether you can be competitive there. So yeah, our market size, as I said, is like all of the Muslims in the world, right? Because the problem is huge and the supply is super low. That's answering your first question. The second question, every company needs to have the North Star metric. That's the main metric to focus on, and our North Star metric is number of active users, number of active monthly users, and every employee in our company know that that's the core thing, that's the thing to focus on, and that's shortly for IMAN. But for metrics, the measurement of metrics, that's the number one thing that the founder needs to do to build the metrics funnel. And there's lots of techniques for that. There is a pyramid technique when you define your high-level metrics, your why metrics, your actionable metrics, what you need to do, what you affect, and what in terms of the business it will give you. So yeah, I follow this pyramid technique in terms of the metrics, and yeah, it's really good to have that scheme and to have that dashboard when you can fill your business in numbers and be data driven, look at your numbers, know your numbers, and of course it's very important for fundraising as well. The founder needs to know his numbers. So yeah.
Thank you, Rustam, for your answers. I have a very brief question. Personal and probably. We love to analyze the way of entrepreneurs. I was always curious what should happen to the person so that he decides to choose the entrepreneurial way. For example, we used to be part of the corporate world, and at some point of time you decided to start your own business. And it turned out to be successful. And I read some very interesting observations stating that probably before starting your own business, a person, he or she should work in a company to understand the kitchen from inside, so to say. And ideally, it's going to be international company when all these processes are organized in a proper way, so that you could, from one side, see the processes, and from another side, to see how successful companies operate. And ideally, it's going to be like different functions. So you work as part of finance function, you work as part of HR, etc., or interact with them, or try to understand their work. And when you understand probably these major functions, you can go to choose the entrepreneurial way. You can be entrepreneurial yourself. So what can you recommend our students? Is it like first, if they try to be entrepreneur, what should they do first? Going to a company, or probably starting their businesses when they're students? And if it is a company, is it going to be international company when these business processes are organized, or it's going to be a small company when nothing is organized, and so that they can do this on their own?
Yeah, great question. I think my experience would be useful to share with the future entrepreneurs, because I worked at Big Four companies. It's like audit company, right? I used to work at investment firm here. I used to work at the World Bank, right? The IFC, the investment vehicle. It's like the big corporation. And now I can say that it's not. Of course, it's only my opinion, my expertise, and what I believe is that it's not about the company. It's not about the name of or the brand of the company, or whether the company is global, international. It's not about the business processes for me. It's about the people, right? It's about the people, and it's about your manager. Find a good manager. Find a strong manager. Find a strong leader or mentor to follow, right? If you find the good mentor or the manager, you will grow. Yes, you can go to corporation to look how the established business processes work, but for me it was like 1 year enough in a Big Four company to see that most of the value, most of the knowledge, most of the growth I received talking and working with the smart people, with the smart managers. And yeah, that's the suggestion. Find a strong leader, mentor to follow.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.